Networking is not just connecting to people. It's about connecting people with people, people with ideas, and people with opportunities. Heidi Roizen, a well-known technology entrepreneur and former venture capitalist, shared in an interview about building relationships. One of the points that she shared in that interview was to get to know people before they are famous. That's how Heidi says she got to know people like Bill Gates. We were all starting out together, we were of similar age, and we were building our companies and competing, and yet always cooperating. This reminded me about how givers always get lucky. Welcome back to my Thursday video series where I share examples for you to use at work to make your messaging sticky. In 1999, a young computer engineer and aspiring entrepreneur named Adam Rifkin was looking for advice on his next move. In doing so, Rifkin sent an unsolicited email to a man he had never met in person named Graham Spencer. At that time, Spencer was one of the hottest names in Silicon Valley tech community, having just completed the sale of his last startup, Excite.com. In early 1999, Excite was sold to the telecommunications company At Home for $6.7 billion. Needless to say, once the deal was finalized, Spencer was getting a lot of attention. Now, in Silicon Valley success stories, the fact that Rifkin sent a cold email hoping for some advice isn't unusual. Who wouldn't at least want to give a try, right? But what was unusual is that Spencer agreed to that request. Not only did Spencer volunteer to meet with Rifkin in person and answer any questions that Rifkin might have had, he also went over and beyond that. Once Rifkin had explained his idea, Spencer connected Rifkin to a venture capitalist who became one of the first funders of the new startup. Now, that begs the question, right? Why, at the height of his popularity, at the peak of the demand for his time, did Spencer agree to sit down with someone he had never met in person? Let's roll the clock back 5 years. More specifically, in 1994, as Rifkin was beginning his studies in computer science, he built a fan website dedicated to the emerging punk rock band Green Day. Despite it being the early days of the internet, the website took off quickly. In fact, the website got so much attention that the members of Green Day asked if they could take it over from Rifkin and make it their official website. Being a big fan, Rifkin said yes. At the same time, Rifkin also received another request from a young man called Graham Spencer, who felt that labeling Green Day as a punk band was taking the attention away from real punk bands. So Rifkin and Spencer worked together and built a page on Green Day's website that listed other lesser-known bands. So a completely random set of events that happened in 1994 led to them re-engaging over emails in 1999. And Rifkin says that's what got my company to help get founded in 2000. Rifkin had helped Spencer even though he could have ignored that request. And 5 years later, Spencer in turn helped Rifkin even though he too could have ignored that request. While this itself is exceptional, this apparently is a pretty common occurrence for Rifkin. His career was full of incidents of helping individuals who either were or would go on to become well-known figures in technology and business. Like the time Rifkin gave some contract work to a young E. Williams so that he could stay afloat with a startup called Blogger, which ultimately he ended up selling to Google for an undisclosed sum. Williams would also go on to start a company that would ultimately become Twitter. Or the time when Rifkin was starting another company and needed office space, and Reid Hoffman offered to let his team crash at LinkedIn until they could get on their feet. What an amazing series of incidents. Now, where at work would you share these? If you were talking to your team about the importance of building a personal brand and want to highlight how giving, sharing, and helping are great roots for it, this would be a good example to share. Where else would you use this? Do let me know in the comments, and I'd love to hear from you. If you like this video, there are 100+ such videos on my YouTube channel. Please subscribe to get an update every time a new video is uploaded. And I'll see you next week.